Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Sadhu Sangat Ji, welcome to the next session in this series. Today we'll be looking at the fourth Charitr. The overlaying concept will stay the same throughout the Charitrs. The overlaying concept is that there is a king whose name is Raja Chartir Singh. He has a son, Hanavat Singh, and he's about to take a very rash decision of prosecuting his son because of the claims that a princess he abducted made. His advisors, although they can't tell him directly, you're making the wrong decision, they see the flaws in his decision-making process and are trying to advise him against making that decision. To advise him against his decision, they're giving him different stories. Today, in the fourth Charitar, we'll go through the next story they present to the Raja Chartir Singh to explain to him that, look, it may be that your son isn't wrong and you might be blinded by your attachment to this woman. So, Aao Sadhu Sangat Ji, we're going to pull up the screen now so we can go through this together. And we'll do just what we did last time. Thus, we'll read the part, go through some vocabulary, and at the same time, we will explore the concepts that Maharaj is bringing forth. Chaupai Bandasal Nirvapoot Pathayo. So, at the beginning of every, of the stories that, or the beginning of every Charitar, what happens is that the Raja sends his son, Hanavat Singh, to the jail cell, the Bandi Khana, which is called in Punjabi, the jail cell. And then when the sun rises, Pei Por, when the sun rises, Fir Pakar Mangayo, he calls him back into his darbar because that's where the decision is being made. At night time, last night, he sent his son away to the jail cell thinking, okay, let me think about this one more night. Next day comes forward, he calls his son forward to make this decision, and then again the mantri stopped the king, Chartir Singh, before you make the decision, let me tell you another story. So now the son again, Hanavat Singh, is standing in his darbar, and the mantris are going to say another story to the king. Dohra Mahanand Murdar ki. Mahanand is the name of this character they're going to use in the story. Murdar. Murdar means murda, a dead body. In this concept, or in this case, it could mean that Mahanandji was very old. Mahanand Murdar, meaning he's very bujurg, both hi jara bujurg sareer hunda. It could be that they're very old. Ki huti buriya ek, he had a wife. He had a wife, and we're going to find out who that wife was. Ta so rat manat hutte. Many people, Hindu, Turk, Anek, many people will commit adultery with his wife, or his wife will commit adultery with many people behind his back. Behind Mahanand's back, she will commit many adulteries with Muslims and Hindus alike. Meaning to say that her character was such low, you can say, where she did not, for some reason, she wanted to explore other options besides Mahanand. Mahanand Murdar ki Kurki Triya ko naam. Her name was Kurki. I'm using names in blue, new definition words in green, and general highlighting in yellow. So Mahanand's wife's name was, Triya means his istri, his wife. Her name was Kurki. Kop samay nij naha ko kurkat atho jam. Kurkat means chagada. Athe jam, athe pair, throughout the whole day she would just be fighting with Mahanand. All day yelling at the poor guy. Ek chash tako rahe bird aap triya jwan. Mahanand was blind in one eye. Ek chash tako rahe. He was blind from one eye. And bird aap, he was very old. Bird means old. Te triya jwan. The originally istri si, meaning Kurki, she was very young. So ya par rijat nahi ya ke vah mein hai pran. For that reason, she was not rijat. Rijat means she was not happy in the relationship she was in, because she was with a man who was very old. That's A. B, he was blind from one eye. And C, she was Jawan herself. She was very young, so she had more options. She did not want to stay in a place where she did not felt she was getting happiness. For that reason, ya ke va mein pran, her pran were elsewhere. Her life was elsewhere. Her thoughts were elsewhere. She was always focusing on different people because her husband could not satisfy her. He was very old. So the mantris are giving, thus, we'll just add some commentary while we're going through. The mantris are giving this vichar, it seems to me, as in to again remind the king, hey, you might be in the same situation where you're very old. It's not necessarily true what your wife is saying, what that princess is saying. She could be just, her mind could be looking for a younger person. She could not be, maybe she's not talking with you. Remember in the beginning, she was not talking to him. Maybe she's not talking to you because she's not happy in this relationship. She wants a younger man. And you, on just the base of her words, you're going to send Hanumant Singh to execution. So, काज कवन हूँ के नमित गयो ताम को ताए तरुण पुरख सो तरुण तह रही होती लपटाए. So one day, and this will happen every day, but one day such a thing happened where the man, Mahanand, he went out to do some kind of work. Tam to kar gaya. Tam means kar to tae. Tae means he went away from home for a little while to do some works. The istri, the lady, Kurki, she called over a young guy. Right? And she would make love with him. She was basically committing adultery behind Mahanand's back. Then one day, what happened was Mahanand avat sunyo. Mahanand came home early. He came home early, and the girl, Kurki, she heard him come in. Liyo gire solai. When she heard him come in, she came out of her room. She ran downstairs to the doorsteps, and she quickly embraced Mahanand. She embraced Mahanand. Now what she's trying to do, she's trying to let her partner run away while she can, buy some time. At bachittar baata kari. Oh, bari ati ant bachittar baatan kar diya. She starts talking with a lot of love to Mahanand. Remember, before she was always yelling at him? Today she's going to use her love to try to lure Mahanandji into her talks. At bachitra bata kari hirda hark upajai. She's trying to make his hirda, his heart, hark means happy. She's trying to make his heart feel happy. Kaan do gire kahe choom ek dragaleen. And what she does is that she kisses one eye, because from one eye is blind. The other eye, which he can see from, she kisses that eye, so he can't see at all. And then she grabs both of his ears and twists them so that he can't hear anything. Ehe chal so chal ka jade hai yaar bida karteen. She played this chal. Guru Sahib called it chal, trickery, tokha. She played this tokha with the poor guy. She twists his ears, put her lips on his one eye that he could see with, so that her yaar, her boyfriend, can run away. Savarna kach kharko. Maharaj kande his ears. Savarna means ears. Na kach kharko. They could not hear any kharka because she twisted them. She closed his ears. Sune ek chak saka na heer. And from one eye he cannot even see. The other eye she has her lips on, so he cannot see him leave either. Paro sada mero raha laha na pev andir. Maharaj says the poor guy could not understand the deception that's being played on him. The deception that's going on, he could not understand. Her roop tav bas pai motan badeo anang. She starts talking to him, saying that by seeing you, I could not control. You're so beautiful. She started saying, she's trying to flatter him. She's trying to, jhoothi ustat karti bhi hai na? Jhoothi ustat karke, she's lying to him. You know, she doesn't really feel this way, but she's propagating such words to just flatter him. Chum netra te leo atehit chit ke sang. That's why I have kissed your eye, she says. That's why I've held your ears, and that's why I'm embracing you, because you look so beautiful today. You look so handsome today. Mahanand eh baat sun phool gyo man maahe. Bechara Mahanand. Poor Mahanand eh baat sun ke, bachan sun ke, oh phul gaya. Hanji. Apne man vich phul gaya. He got so happy hearing that she actually saying these things to me. She's flattering me. He got so happy that oh phul gaya. Like he just became so engrossed in her words. Adik preet ta so kari ped pachanyo na hai. He fell in love with her, and he could not understand the trickery that's being played. He could not understand the ped, the secret that she's keeping behind his back. So Guru Sahib here gives another Charitr to go through this understanding of what type of trickery there is in this world. Okay, how our limited perception can be manipulated. For example, he got, because she flattered him, he totally forgot or forgave everything she's been doing to him so thus far. Because of that, he could not understand that she's committing adultery behind his back. Even if someone were to say it to him now, he wouldn't believe it, because he's caught up in his words now, in her words. Basically, his own ego was his own downfall. You know, he wanted to receive her love so badly. He wanted to experience that. He wanted to experience that pyar from her, that love from her, so badly that once she gave it to him, he was in his hands. So in that same way, the mantris are giving a story after a story to the king, so he does not kill his son Hanuman Singh. And it's amazing that, and that's this painting last time as well, but we didn't really explore it. It's amazing the names that Guru Sahib is using in these stories. The names that Guru Sahib is using, first, they're in this story, for example, they're using Mahanand. Mahanand means Maha Anand. Anand means bliss. Maha means so much. Mahan Anand, right? Murdar means is dead. The Sikha, this, you have a khajana of extreme bliss inside you. You have a khajana, you have a treasure box of Anand inside you, but you have let it die. You have killed it. You have killed it off. It's dead inside of you. Why? Because you're running after this world. You're running for the passions of this world. You may be married, but you're still looking at other people's spouses. You may be married, but you're still looking at other girls. You're still looking at other guys. What are you doing? Get your act together. You have this khajana of Mahanand inside you. You have this khajana, but murdar, it's dead. Wake it up. So Guru Sahib is using these words to relay there's a message on top, but then there's a spiritual message behind it as well. And it's beautiful that the main two characters, Hanuvant Singh and Charitr Singh. Hanuvant Singh means Hanuman. The root word of Hanuman is Hanumat Singh. Hanuman means he was a surma. He was a warrior. Who was Hanuman? He was a warrior, and he was a huge Bhagat of Ramchandra. Sri Ramchandra ji da anin panit Bhagat hoya. And on top of that, he was Surbir. What is a Khalsa supposed to do? Sant Sipai. Khalsa bhi yahi hai. Ek Anand Bhagat, like Anand Bhagat means like someone that does not exist. Anand Bhagat means like no other. Anin. An means hor, nanna means no. Anin. Kisi hor vang na hoy. Anin Gursik, Anin Bhagat. A Gursik is supposed to be that person who is a Bhagat, like no other. And then on top of that, a Sipai, a soldier as well, a Surbir as well, a Bahadur as well. Just like Hanuman Singh stood up against when the princess said, make love with me, Hanuman Singh said, no, that's not my dharam. I'm not meant to do that. Guru Sahib is telling us, Khalsa Ji, this is your dharam. This is exactly what you're supposed to do in this situation. So, Sadhu Sangh, you can elaborate so much on it. And hold the Maharaj Kirpa, one tale at a time, one Charitra at a time, Maharaj Kirpa karke, we'll definitely go through as much as we can. Itniyan hi beintiyan pravan karniyan ji. Pujjo kadi khima. We'll see you in the next session. Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh.